Welcome to this educational tutorial from IIMCO, the International Integrative Maternity Healthcare Organisation. And this short course is designed to certify maternity healthcare clinicians as PIM friendly or Perinatal Integrative Medicine friendly. Hi, my name is Kathy Frey, and I am a founding director of IIMCO, who are the global thought leaders on PIM or Perinatal Integrative Medicine. I am a midwife and I have been my country's best-selling maternity author since 2005. I am also the managing director of the motherswise.com resources, and I am the lead maternity midwife at Ask the Maternity Gurus International Forum. Now, during the course of the next 3/4 of an hour or so, it will not be just me talking. You will also be introduced to some of the other amazing and wonderful senior team here at IIMCO, who are based all over the world.
Hi, I'm Freya. I'm a midwife and a mom, and I'm from England. I work in an English hospital, and I also run a business called Expecting, teaching antenatal classes and hypnobirthing. And I love all that IIMCO stands for.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake and I'm a health coach. So I'm not a maternity specialist, although I am married to a midwife, and let's face it, that pretty much makes you a midwife, right? But being a health coach, I believe in that big picture of health. And when you look after your whole health, then your maternal health is a lot easier to steward as well. I also look after some of the tech and web stuff here at IIMCO.
Hello everyone, how are we all? I am Julia Bartrop and I am an acupuncturist, and I actually work with women's health and fertility and pregnancy and postnatal care. So I am actually part of the IIMCO team, and I am very, very proud to be part of IIMCO's team.
So let's begin. IIMCO, or the International Integrative Maternity Healthcare Organisation. As already explained, we are the global thought leaders on perinatal integrative medicine, which you could also call holistic maternal, fetal and neonatal wellness. Welcome. Firstly, our mission statement. This is the who we are and what we stand for. A visionary for the revolutionary maternity care cross-discipline exchange of progressive research, innovative knowledge, enlightened experience, and radical ideas, in a medically professional and universally holistic environment of liberal open-mindedness, for the compelling passion to create impact by giving women worldwide access to triadic body, mind, spirit, maternal neonatal health well-being, inspired by the values of humanistic empowerment. What we do here at IIMCO is, as global thought leaders on perinatal integrative medicine, i.e. the holistic maternal, fetal and neonatal wellness, we update with our general e-newsletters, and we inform with our research e-journals. We teach with our certification courses. We educate with our weekly webinars interviewing top specialists. We enlighten at our symposiums, and we edify our clinicians through our practitioner database.
So membership is for anyone with an interest or a passion in accessing integrative health and wellness, whether that be for any or all parts of the birth journey. So whether you're a therapist offering care to pregnant women or you're a pregnant woman yourself, this is for you. Our webinars and symposiums are a great opportunity for maternity specialist professionals of all modalities to get together under one roof, whether that's virtual or in person, to connect, convene and communicate, to learn from one another and share. So from midwives to medical herbalists, from hypnobirthists to homeopaths, from obstetricians to osteopaths and everything in between. So if you have knowledge within the maternity natural health world, specific or broad, get in touch because you could be a guest speaker.
IIMCO's core values. Our purpose, we see, is to be the global leader and influencer or umbrella organisation, collaborating integrative medicine with maternity healthcare internationally.
So our core values incorporate empowering and being an empowering catalyst of change for freedom. We passionately are compelled to improve outcomes for expectant mothers-to-be internationally, for women to have the right to experience the birth of their dreams. We have holistic principles. We integrate corporate mentality that is holistic and naturopathic, which organically grows networking referrals exponentially. We celebrate joyful integrity. Every person is a team, and we provide customer and team interrelationships that are always genuine, kind, caring, honest, respectful, and fun. We are involved in benevolent capitalism. We combine the power of free enterprise with entrepreneurial ethics with generous altruistic impact of giving.
So what is general integrative medicine? Well, it's often referred to as CAMS, so complementary and alternative medicines, or TNCMs, traditional and complementary medicines. Basically the same animal, but they can be subdivided into 5 categories. Firstly, you've got your traditional medicines, so homeopathy, medical herbalism, essential oils, Indian Ayurvedic medicine. And then you've got your mind-body connections, so things like meditation, spiritual healing, neuro-linguistic programming, and music and dance all fall into that category. Then you have biological nourishment, so your diet, vitamins, minerals, and supplements. And then there's body manipulation, so your chiropractic therapy, your osteopathy, kinesiology, and then energy healing. So for example, Reiki, Qigong, pulsed electromagnetic fields. These are all really broad terms and they give a brief and general overview. And many of these forms of integrative medicine actually cross over. So if that's integrative medicine, what is perinatal integrative medicine? Well, it's basically the maternity division, so the subspecialty of integrative medicine. And when Kathy began IIMCO, there was actually no term to describe perinatal integrative medicine, which I'm sure you'll agree is absolutely crazy. So IIMCO came up with these definitions. Kathy coined these phrases, which are now globally recognised terms. Another way to look at perinatal integrative medicine is when the medical and the holistic, the contemporary and the traditional, the mainstream and the alternative all respect how they complement one another. So this enables them to form a united revolution of cohesive evolution to create the ultimate in best practice maternity care. And if you think that sounds exciting, it totally is, and it makes absolute sense whether you're a maternity care provider or a pregnant woman.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper and understand these terms again. It's so important that we understand the terms because these are words that we are using all the time, and we need to redefine where we stand on the paradigm of these holistic understandings. Okay, so firstly, mainstream. If we look at the dictionary definition, what does the word mainstream even mean? Okay, well, it means normal, ordinary, conventional, and used by the local majority. Okay, so what does conventional mean? Conventional means it is usual, standard, common, established, and traditional. Okay, so what is the term orthodox medicine? We often hear that term orthodox in there. So what does orthodox mean? It means traditional, accepted, conformist, established, conventional, and mainstream. But which medicines are mainstream depends on where you live, your beliefs, and local availability. We believe here at IIMCO that it is inappropriate, utterly inappropriate, for one therapy of medicine to describe itself globally as being orthodox, mainstream, or conventional for all. We believe what we need is some seriously overdue updated definitions. And this is our suggestion, and we would like you to take these on board. Firstly, TCHTs, traditional and contemporary holistic therapies, what many currently refer to as CAMs or TNCMs, which have historically focused on eliminating the root cause of disease. And MMTs, modern medical treatments. So what hospital clinicians currently often refer to as conventional mainstream medicine, which has empirically focused on reducing the symptoms of disease. We passionately here at IIMCO believe that we need to eliminate the terms complementary and alternative because it undersells what these therapies can do and do. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is get way back to the basics of Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. And we're going to overview this and then overlap it onto maternity health care. And for any of you who have studied Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, we apologize as how very simplified we are giving this version of it, but this is an overview introduction. All right, so firstly, at the very bottom of human needs, which was the dominant human needs 300,000 years ago to 2 million years ago, is simply our physiological needs. That's water, food, warmth, and rest. Once we as human beings had fulfilled those needs, then the next level that we needed or we wanted to fulfill as within our needs was safety. Well, it still is safety. So around 50,000 to 500,000 years ago, safety became something that we were striving for as well, and meaning security, stability, health. Then around 10,000 to 80,000 years ago, as the human race had fulfilled most of its physiological needs and most of its safety needs most of the time, we then started to to fulfill our needs on belonging and being loved. We would be seeking friendships, relationships, inclusions, such as the creation of the village. Then, around 200 to 10,000 years ago, depending on where humans were living on the planet at the time, self-esteem started to come through as a need for human beings. We wanted respect, recognition, status. We wanted strength, prestige, freedom. And this is where we start to see the big civilizations starting to establish themselves to create that. And finally, really in just the last couple of centuries, and still not existing in many places on the planet, where is the possibilities of being able to fulfill our human needs to achieve individual potential creativity and self-fulfillment, our self-actualization. So the point is that when we have our physiological needs met and our safety needs met, and we are feeling like we belong and we are feeling like we get loved, we are being loved, and our self-esteem needs get met, then that final need has the opportunity to be met of self-actualization. So what we want to do now is overview that hierarchy of needs onto the maternity journey. And the maternity journey, of course, relates to preconception, pregnancy, labor, birth, the postpartum, and mothering a newborn. So at present, this is dominantly all our millennial generation that are becoming pregnant, but we are also very much starting to see, and more, our Alpha Gen Zs, or our Zoomers, as they like to be called. Okay, so looking at the physiological needs on that maternity journey of food, water, warmth, and respect. Food, water, warmth, and rest. Well, we all believe that is an absolute fundamental right for women who are pregnant on this planet. Not all of them get it, but it should be their right. Next, safety. We believe that is a basic, as human beings today, we look at that as a basic entitlement, that a woman who is pregnant or in labor or giving birth or looking after a newborn feels security, stability, and has access to health. Next, belonging and being loved. So having access to the friendships, relationships, having that inclusion. So within the maternity journey, that is often shows itself when she has the opportunity to choose her health professional, to choose her birth support people. So when we look at that, that's actually within the developed world really only been coming about since about the 1970s. So it's a pretty new area. Although when we go back hundreds or thousands of years, and if any of you have read The Red Tent, and if we take it back into more ancient times, then that was part of rights as well. So we're almost going in a circle on that right. That need, I should say, the need. Okay, so then once that woman has got her basic physiological needs met, she feels safe, she feels like she belongs, she's being loved, then of course the next need that she will be wanting to fulfill is her self-esteem need. So she wants respect, she wants recognition, she wants status, strength, prestige, freedom. And this is, we regard this as an expected experience within her journey, and it is sanctioned in law in many countries around the medical aspects of her care. So she should be respected as a patient or client. Her rights, her consents, etc., are respected. She has the freedom to decline treatments, etc. So this is absolutely basic idealistic principles within modern maternity healthcare. So the final part of that is that self-actualization, where she is able to have the fulfillment of the maternity experience of her dreams, what she desires, i.e. the writing of her birth plan. And our role as maternity health professionals is to do everything we can to empower her with the knowledge of writing a wonderful birth plan that is sensible and rational, because sometimes they're not. And so we need to help her with that, and also do everything in our power to allow that experience to be. There's lots of different ways we could describe that, but we know that you understand what we're talking about here. So this is the journey that women are now seeking, and millennials and our Zoomers, let's face it, in the Western world, expect all 5 tiers of this hierarchy of needs to be fulfilled as part of their maternity journey. Okay, so taking it now back to integrative medicine.
So pregnant women are not typically unwell, but they're not in normal health either. So when we're pregnant, we actually have a lot of extra requirements for nutrition, for care, for rest, for respect as well. When we're pregnant, especially in the first trimester, we're growing a placenta and we're growing a baby, and we use up a lot of energy, and a lot of energy actually goes down towards the uterus, and can leave you with a foggy head. And for today's expectant millennial Gen Ys and the Alpha Zen Zoomers, along with everybody else, they may want integrative medicine as their mainstream in their birth journey. They want access to humanistic healthcare that focuses holistically on the whole woman-baby triad, especially because labour is fundamentally both a science and a heart-based experience. And I know from personal experience, and also in traditional Chinese medicine, once you give birth to that baby, your heart expands and opens, and the heart is where we actually keep our Shen, or our soul. And once you give birth and have that baby in your hands, or is placed on your chest, you'll see videos of women who are just crying unbelievably. And it's not that they're crying because they're sad, they're crying because they're so happy, and they're actually tears of joy. And this is that heart expansion opening up and rewiring the brain as well. And this is all part of that birth process, but science sort of relegates it down, and it's a spiritual experience giving birth, whether you give birth naturally or whether, like me, I ended up with 2 emergency C-sections. However, I still birthed that baby, I still grew that baby, and it's still fundamental that that heart opens when you give birth, and it is such a powerful experience.
If there's one mindset required, perhaps more than anything else when working with integrative medicine, it's always about maintaining a deep respect for pragmatic, real-world research, new knowledge and innovative methodologies without losing sight of tried and tested ancient wisdom as well. Also, without wanting to enter the inoculation debate, it's interesting to note that for many years now, the lowest vaccination rates in Sydney, Australia have been occurring within the most affluent suburbs, no longer the lower socioeconomic areas. The God syndrome for doctors has faded away somewhat. Dr. Google and YouTube have stronger influences on the more highly educated parents of today. And rightly or wrongly, that's a massive swing in societal mentality away from trusting what may have been considered mainstream medicine. Put simply, many parents today are realizing that if they want to get knowledgeable about health, as opposed to being knowledgeable about disease, then they need to open their minds towards the holistic, the fringe, maybe even the radical, and certainly towards the traditional and most ancient, and of course, the innovative and cutting edge. Now, if your child is premature, or they break a bone, they have an anatomical abnormality, then modern pediatrics, especially surgically, can potentially save your child's life with miraculous scientific technology. However, the fact is abundantly clear that we need a broader, more optimistic view of health that goes beyond, or perhaps doesn't even need to get to, treating disease. Now we have exponentially increasing levels of hospitals full of patients with chronic long-term coronary disease, cancer victims hoping to become cancer survivors, and they're being provided with hospital healthcare that continues to feed them with inflammatory foods, cheap white breads, overcooked and pesticide-pumped vegetables, and random gelatinous desserts. I don't even want to know what's in those things. Now, how on earth is this happening in our healthcare systems? How is it that they remain so nutritionally unaware? Partly it's because there's a lot of money to be made by the big agricultural companies, peddling substandard food, masquerading as healthy food, that can easily be grown and harvested by an agricultural system running on fossil fuels and other extractive industries. And then, of course, we have the other side of that same coin, Big Pharma, a juggernaut that may well bankrupt instantly if a simple, natural and inexpensive cure for cancer was confirmed. Or indeed, we took a step back, evaluated, and then lived more in accordance with the environmental signals that our genes are expecting, and indeed the rest of the planet has always expected. We've got to face the facts. There are just too many trillions of dollars tied up in big ag and big pharma to avoid corruption. In the UK today, 3 times as many people die annually from the side effects of their prescribed medications versus the numbers who die in vehicle accidents. It's true, and yet it's a stat that we rarely talk about. In the USA today, over 6 million children have been diagnosed with ADHD, equivalent to 2 children in every American classroom being medicated. It's talked about constantly, but commercially, it's great business. And alongside all the physiological disease is the rampant psychological disease. Statistics show that a phenomenal quarter of our adult Western population annually are prescribed antidepressants, including almost 1/3 of our working mothers. And our full-time stay-at-home mothers are statistically even more at risk from depression. Today, our Ritalin and Ventolin-filled hyperallergenic children are being cared for by Lozac and Prozac-fed parents and babysat by their warfarin and insulin-fed grandparents. We're entire nations of overfed, undernourished, and recurrently diseased and desperately depressed people. We've seriously got to question, why is it that we've become the sickest generation to ever exist when it's never been so possible to be healthy? Oh, and we've got to ask, why have we become one of the saddest generations of humans to have ever roamed this earth, when human life has never had so many labour-saving luxuries? In the words of the renowned nutrition scientist, Professor Jeffrey Bland, so much of the population today is vertically ill. We're not sick enough to be lying down, like horizontally ill, but we're certainly not well. Now, all of that said, today, women, parents, patients, many of us, we're demanding a new paradigm. Here at IIMCO, at its foundation, our collective goal is simply to uphold the WHO's mandate. Optimal health and well-being are inclusive of the physical, the social, the psychological, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of life. More studies have been done, more university research, and it continues to confirm how incredibly popular naturopathic therapies are for expectant mothers all over the planet. Dozens of studies, one after another, are confirming that most mothers-to-be access complementary wellness of one kind or another during their maternity journey from a wide range of traditional and modern integrative modalities, rather than women just relying on conventional allopathic obstetric medicine. It's just a fact. Many of those scientific research studies have been featured in the IMHC Research e-journals. Now you can check out the back copies available at imco.com. These many university researchers are commonly concluding that women use such wellness practices because they value holistic natural approaches and they want greater participation in their own care, even though empirical Western medicine has very few high-quality studies on the natural medicinal treatment efficacy. Why is that? Well, there are 2 significant barriers. Firstly, lack of financial incentive. Big Pharma, who fund most drug research, can't earn royalties on any naturally occurring substances. They can only earn their patent income on synthetic molecules, even if they're copies or adaptations of what nature has provided. Also, if we started living more healthfully, this would certainly include ditching what big agriculture has on offer for us and growing closer to home, and for instance, recognizing that food is medicine. Both Big Ag and Big Pharma lose out on people taking charge of their own health. Secondly, lack of suitable empirical research techniques. Homeopathy alone has around 50 different cough tinctures that are all specific on the individual type of cough, which obviously most mainstream medical tinctures do not do. It's very difficult to run a double-blind, randomized, controlled trial on homeopathy with its 50 different cough remedies. This gets even more tricky for healing modalities that specifically focus on the whole human being, mind, body, and spirit, or whatever language you want to use to describe that. As Albert Einstein said, just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it isn't true.
Unless your head is buried in sand, I think we can all agree that globally in the developed world, our obstetric delivery rates versus our natural birth rates are just way too high. And for many years, the increased emergency deliveries statistically have stopped corresponding with improving outcomes. Quite the opposite, in fact. At the same time, in universities around the world, midwives are being formally trained almost solely on the science of midwifery. We seem to have lost confidence in the art of midwifery, such as midwives being routinely skilled in holistic third trimester traditional remedies, which midwifery has been using since the beginning of time to tone the womb, to soften the cervix, naturally induce term labour, gently augment unproductive contractions. However, when you ask any self-employed caseloading midwife in the West who has a C-section rate that is consistently low, how her women have such high chances of experiencing a natural, non-traumatic birth, you nearly always find her birth kit laden with holistic, naturopathic tools and homeopathic resources. Although the need for obstetric intervention can at times of course be black and white, and thank goodness for caesarean sections, there'd be many babies and even mums who wouldn't be here without them. But we also know that both midwives and obstetricians spend much of their time operating in various shades of grey. Today, lots of exciting, groundbreaking, cutting-edge work is being done within the area of perinatal integrative medicine. For example, preconception epigenetics, pregnancy nutrition, metagenics, they're topics currently right at the forefront of scientific research. And at the same time, there's also many ancient traditional texts on herbalistic health during the maternity journey, which modern therapists continually refer to, especially within traditional Chinese medicine, Indian Ayurveda medicine, and Western herbalism. But despite the enormous amounts of anecdotal evidence over hundreds and thousands of years, modern conventional medicine continues to demand their empirical double-blind randomized controlled trials on herbalism and homeopathy. This can sometimes be a bit more like trying to decide how tasty apple juice is by counting how many apples went in to create it. They just work within different parameters of measuring well-being. Science is now admitting to defective capacities to quantify a human's triadic strength of body, mind, spirit, especially with childbirth, which is such a primarily raw interconnectedness of the physiological body, the intellectual mind, and the soulful spirit. And many of us, well, most of us, are wanting to swing the medical model's pendulum back to the middle path of formally, officially and intentionally evolving global maternity healthcare systems into the art of holistic integrative paradigm, openly embracing perinatal integrative medicine within the science of gynecological, midwifery and obstetric healthcare wellness, instead of just relying solely on allopathic modern medicine as being the god of all perinatal wisdom. Here at IIMCO, we believe for all students being formally taught midwifery and obstetrics, basic perinatal integrative medicine skills need to fundamentally become as natural and normal as the natural and normal births we all strive for our clients to experience. It's our philosophy that as birth practitioners and maternity healthcare clinicians, we all need to proactively expand our circle of those from whom we wish to seek knowledge, to break down the blockades that divide us and to defeat the tribalism barriers of academic ideology. Today's enabling of autonomous self-determination and independent liberty, plus our clients' online access to Dr. Google and Dr. YouTube. I know Google and YouTube have never actually had a baby, but this does expand all of our capacities for broad spectrum thinking. And this together with our more rational, tolerant ethos, we believe making us more holistically minded than ever before. We're heading in the right direction. The progress is just slower than a lot of us desire, and faster than a lot of others would prefer. Should obstetricians share teaching with midwifery students? Of course. Do they? Not a lot. Habitually, it's left to midwives to teach midwifery students. Should midwives share teaching with obstetric students? Of course. Do they? Actually, all the time. Usually because we're so acutely aware that the doctor's first-hand obstetric experiences of normal will be so limited during their training. And should our maternity specialising medical herbalists and homeopaths share teaching with midwifery and obstetric students? Of course. Do they? Not often. Typically, obstetric junior doctors would never ever attend a lecture on perinatal integrative medicine. And midwifery students may attend the occasional talk by a visiting naturopathic practitioner. If we're to build a functionally robust integrative maternity healthcare system, we must all strenuously avoid demonising other modality of practice therapy, such as verbosely regarding them as some ostracised lower caste pseudo-medical unequal. Instead, we need to start intentionally and righteously, because it is our right, aspiring to an insightful merging of ancient remedies with synthetic big pharmaceutical. Holistic midwifery with medical obstetrics, with us all willing to open our minds, including fully respecting the centuries of accumulated naturopathic anecdotal evidence. It's all about us as maternity healthcare practitioners actively encouraging our women to focus physically and mentally on pregnancy wellness naturopathically, and to focus emotionally and spiritually on spontaneous childbirth normality. If our women want normal health, then we need to centre them on natural wellness. And if our women want normal birth, then we need to centre them on natural labour. But if you're watching this video, then likely you're already on the same page. And right now, at this moment, you and all of us at IIMCO are creating history. We are changing the paradigm, so be proud.
So now we're coming to the conclusion of this overview. The core values that we expect every IIMCO certified, PIM friendly maternity practitioner to agree to uphold are these following. We want you to be able to say this to yourself and to the world, I guess. I support the cross-discipline exchange of progressive research, innovative knowledge, enlightened experience, and radical ideas in a medical, professional, and universally holistic environment of revolutionary open-mindedness. I support well-being global impact for women worldwide by supporting them accessing triadic body, mind, spirit maternity health care. I understand that IIMCO Integrative Maternity Healthcare, also known as PIM, Perinatal Integrative Medicine, is when the medical and the holistic, the contemporary and the traditional, the mainstream and the alternative all respect how they complement each other and proactively unite to create new best practices in maternity healthcare. The final 15 minutes or so of this 1 hour educational training is you creating or writing a reflection. So as part of becoming IIMCO certified as a PIM-friendly practitioner and receiving your IIMCO-friendly logo that can be displayed on your website, social media, and stationery, etc., you are required to spend the final quarter hour or so writing an approximately 100-word reflection that you email to imcocert@imco.com. And with that, we encourage you to ponder the questions such as, what was my objective for participating in this education? What did I learn from this introductory certification webinar? How will my practice change as a result of this learning? You don't have to answer those questions. You can write any reflection you want. Stick to around about 100 words. If you go over it, that's absolutely fine as well, but not too over. Don't send us a 5,000 word essay, because we are reading them all. So as I say, that's email it through to imcocert@imco.com and we will email you back your badge. Also, as being PIM friendly with your IIMCO certification, there's also, we want to have you included within our global practitioner database. So as part of being PIM friendly, as a birth practitioner or maternity health care clinician or member of the public who's interested, when sending through your reflection, do also please include your name, email, your title, role or specialization, your qualifications or credentials, and 5 words that describe who you are and what you stand for as a maternity healthcare person. Plus, if you wish to be included in our public practitioner directory, then also include your practice clinic location, contact details, and your photo or a logo, but preferably a photo. So I'll just go over that again. What you must send through with your 100 words is your name, email, title, role or specialization, qualifications or credentials, and 5 words that describe who you are and what you stand for in that role. Plus, if you wish to be included in our public practitioner directory, also include your practice clinic location, contact details, and your photo. Finally, we strongly encourage, underline, we strongly encourage you to download the Oh Mama Handbook, which is the Perinatal Integrative Healthcare Guide. So do download that. We've got links here where you can download it very inexpensively as an ebook, or you can also get a printed book version. If you're in America, you would, for a printed book version, you'd go to the Amazon link, and anywhere else in the world, you'd probably go to Book Depository link. And then, of course, if you want any kind of version of ebook, you can go to the Books to Read link, and there's all the different versions there.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it and you found it really interesting. Not only that, but we also hope that together we can spread the word of what PIM really means and apply it to maternity health care, making the experience for practitioners and pregnant women alike a more positive and holistic one. Our hope is, as you yourself become a PIM-friendly practitioner, this reflects the care that you offer. And if you're watching this as a pregnant woman, you can seek out PIM-friendly professionals to enhance the care that you receive. On behalf of the whole IIMCO team, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon on one of our weekly online webinars or in person at one of our symposiums.